In today's video, we're going to be comparing 3 sultry vanilla fragrances. If you're interested, then just keep watching. So for today's video, I wanted to compare 3 fragrances that I think are quite similar. So the fragrances we'll be talking about today are Rosendo Mateau No. 5, YSL Babycat, and Eau The Audacity from Penhaligon's. So the reason I decided to do this video is because if you watch any fragrance videos, I feel like you've heard of YSL Babycat. This is the elusive YSL Babycat. So this fragrance came out and so many people were loving it, and then it basically went away, and now people charge astronomical prices to sell their bottles. I ended up picking up mine from Selfridges probably a little bit over a month ago. It came back in stock. I do try to update y'all on these type of things, so make sure you follow me on Instagram because that's usually the quickest way for me to update you. But anyway, it came back in stock for like a day and then it was gone again. So once I got this in my hands and smelled it, I knew that I wanted to do this comparison video because this was actually the last one out of these 3 fragrances that got added to my collection. So in this video, I'm going to review all 3 of these fragrances and we'll talk about the differences and similarities between them. So let's go ahead and get into the video. So I'm going to talk about these fragrances in order of release date. So the first one that I have here is Rosendo Mateau No. 5. This one was released in 2017 and this is my first fragrance from this brand. I ordered this one blindly. I've had this one for, I don't know if I've had it for a full year, but I've definitely had this one in my collection the longest. On the bottle, it says Floral Amber Sensual Musk. And this fragrance, when I smell it, I do get like a deep, like animalic muskiness, but not too animalic where it smells like an animal sweat or anything like that, but some sort of animalic musk that is really giving some depth to this fragrance. I also smell a lot of amber in this. I smell a deep vanilla. This is not a gourmand vanilla. Actually, in none of these fragrances. This is a deep, like sultry vanilla. Although floral is on here, I really don't smell many florals in here. I just get more of a deep, musky, ambery vanilla from this fragrance. So this fragrance, a lot of people, when they first smell it, they get a rubber tire note. I did get that at first spray as well. So initially when I got this fragrance, I sprayed it on a piece of paper and I felt like I got that, and I was just like disappointed initially at first spray because I had heard so much hype about this fragrance. Anyway, I sprayed it there. I left it because I was saving it for a haul. Came back and smelled it again, and I didn't really get the rubbery notes. So then the first time I wore it on my skin, I got a little bit of the rubberiness, and then since then I don't get any rubberiness from this fragrance. So I don't know if it just needed to air out or if my nose acclimated to it, but for some people they do get that rubbery note and it doesn't go away for them. So I just want to let you all know that I don't feel like this is a safe blind buy, although it is one that I absolutely love. When it comes to projection and longevity, I find this to be a really good performer. So as far as longevity, this lasts pretty much all day on me. If I had to put an hour mark on it, I would say probably at least 10 hours on me. It has no issues with longevity. I also find that this projects really well, but not in a way that I find to be offensive. Sometimes, you know, we all talk about we want all these beast mode fragrances, but sometimes fragrances are not meant to be experienced in that type of dosage, if y'all feel me, because certain types of scent profiles, they just don't work for that. And I feel like if this was like super strong or super projecting, it would be too much and it would be overpowering. So this one, I feel like the projection is really perfect for this type of scent. And as this fragrance wears, it does become a little bit closer to the skin, but this is one that I can actually smell on myself the entire time I'm wearing it. Overall, I find this to be a very addictive unisex scent. I could definitely picture a man wearing this and it smelling just as good on him as it does on me. So again, that is Rosendo Mateau No. 5. The next fragrance we'll talk about is YSL Babycat. This one was released in 2022. And again, this is a sultry vanilla scent. So this one smells deep, it smells dark, it smells leathery. It's not that sweet, but there is some sweetness to it. I also find that this one has a bit of a lifted nature when I compare it to number 5. So when I say a lifted nature, there's something that's a little bit brighter about this scent, more vanillic about this scent than number 5. So whereas number 5 I find to be very musky, Babycat I don't really find it to be extremely musky. Like there's some musk there, but to me this one is more vanilla forward, whereas number 5 is more musk forward. So just to sum that up, with YSL Babycat I get a deep dark vanilla, some musk, some ambery notes, some leathery notes, and a slight like bright aromatic quality, although I wouldn't really call this an aromatic vanilla. There's something that I get that's very slightly aromatic, especially in the beginning, along with some spices. As for performance, this one again performs very, very well on my skin. I know I get at least 12 plus hours because the first time I wore this fragrance, I went out on a date, fell asleep in the car on the way back home. And so when I got home, I didn't take a shower. I know. I hate getting in a bed without a shower, but anyway, I didn't take a shower, woke up the next day and still smelled it on myself. So I know this one lasts at least 12 hours on me. And again, this is one that I can smell on myself the entire time. This one is one that you do not need a lot of sprays on because it projects pretty well. It projects probably a little bit better than number 5 or a little bit more than number 5, but I feel like their performance is actually quite similar and both are really good performers. And I know performance is going to be subjective, but I have heard a lot of people talk about these two fragrances in particular, and they are saying like similar things as me when it comes to the performance of these two fragrances. So again, that is YSL Babycat. And then the last fragrance I have is Eau The Audacity from Penhaligon's. This one was released this year, 2023. And again, it is a sultry vanilla. So when I smell this fragrance, I get a vanilla that is a little sweet, but not gourmand. Again, I still like a drier vanilla. I would classify it as a darker vanilla. However, this one does not smell as dark to me as Babycat and Rosendo Mattel number 5. I also get some spice in here, and I feel like I can pick up on some sort of like black pepper note or something like that. I believe there's incense in this fragrance as well that kind of gives it this slightly, very slightly smoky vibe. It also smells like there's some leathery touches in this fragrance, although I don't think there is any actual leather, but it definitely has this kind of suede-like texture that is comparable to Babycat and Rosendo Mattel number 5. As far as performance on this one, I actually was quite surprised with the performance. This is my first fragrance from Penhaligon's, and I feel like overall as a brand, whenever I hear about them, people say that they are softer fragrances and that they're not super projecting or long lasting. And so this was my first experience with the brand, and I have to say, this was long lasting on me. I've worn this one probably like 4 times, and every single time I've worn this, I've gotten good performance out of this. When it comes to how long it wears, I think it lasted on my skin at least 8+ hours, and this is one that I find projects pretty well. Now when I compare it to the other 2 fragrances, this is one that I feel like I can overspray a little bit more because I do find it to be slightly lighter in smell than the other 2 fragrances, but it's not a light fragrance by any means. And every single time I've worn this outside of my house, I've gotten a compliment from a stranger. So people are definitely able to smell this on me, and this is one that I am able to smell on myself. Now for the last 3 days, I sprayed all 3 of these fragrances on paper and let them sit side by side and then like smell them throughout, right? So I just kept smelling them, trying to see if I picked up any differences, just trying to really compare them on paper. And then I've also been doing the same thing on my skin. And what I will say is that I find that all 3 of these fragrances are similar in smell. They are not exactly the same, but they are similar in smell. As far as depth of the fragrance, like how deep and dark the fragrances smell, to me, number 5 is the darkest, followed by Babycat, and then followed by Eau The Audacity. When it comes to quality of smell, I feel like they are all equal. They all smell high quality. When it comes to wearability, I would say Eau The Audacity is a little bit more wearable than the other 2 because, like I said, it has a very slightly lighter presence or lighter smell to it. And it's kind of hard to explain unless you smell them side by side, but it has a slightly lighter smell to it. So I felt like this one was appropriate in the daytime during the warm-ish weather. I mean, it is fall, but I live in Florida. It's really not cold. But I have worn this throughout the day and I have not felt like it was ever too much or inappropriate as far as how it smelled. Second place as far as wearability goes is Rosendo Mateau number 5. And I find this one, because of that muskiness, I find that I can wear this day or night, although I do prefer it at night, especially when it's warm. This is one that I would stick to for nighttime. But if it was cold, I feel like I could wear this day or night and I feel like it's appropriate. So although I find this to be like a sultry, addictive scent, I could definitely wear this one during the day. Third, as far as wearability, would be Babycat, because I feel like this one is just like slightly darker. And I don't know, when I wore it during the day, I kind of felt like it should be reserved more so for nighttime or for cold weather. And so that's why I rated it as like the least wearable out of all three of these. But honestly, like, I love this scent profile, so I would wear all of these. This is just for me to help compare them for you all. So bottom line, I would recommend all three of these fragrances, but I do not think you need all three of them because I do think they smell quite similar. So unless you really love this scent profile, I don't know that you would find a use for all three in your fragrance wardrobe. For me, I'm keeping all three. Because obviously I have a ton of fragrances. I talk about fragrances on YouTube and I can pick up these subtle nuances. So for me, the way that I'll be wearing all three of these is number 5, I've had this one the longest. This one is my favorite because of the smell, because of the memories, because I've been wearing it more. So this one, I will probably just continue to wear it how I've been wearing it, which is when I really want to feel like sultry or I'm going on a date night. That's the type of occasion that I typically will wear this one for. Babycat, again, I will be wearing for date night or when it gets cold. It's not cold here yet, so I haven't had that much opportunity to wear this. But these, if anything, would be in more competition for me to wear just because they kind of fall into that same kind of scent category. However, I love the way Babycat smells, so I'm not getting rid of it. I'm not getting rid of either one of those. And then Eau The Audacity, this one to me is the one that I think I will reach for the most because, like I said, it's just easier to wear, especially in the warm climate that I live in. It gives me these same types of vibes, but on a lighter scale. And I feel like this one is just gonna be an easier reach for me. So I really feel like you can't go wrong with any of these fragrances. If you were waffling between these three fragrances, I hope that this video helped. And if you can't get your hands on YSL Babycat, then I would say either one of these would be good options. Although they are not like 100% dupes or anything like that, they're not meant to be. I feel like they are quite similar. And if I had to say which one was more similar, I think Eau The Audacity smells more similar to Babycat than Rosendo Mateau number 5 because Rosendo Mateau has that deep muskiness. So they are different, but again, they are quite similar. And for the general consumer, I really don't think that you need all three. If you wanted to go with just one of them, go with the one that sounds the best to you. However, if you have one and you're wondering if you should add the other, I would say that if you have Babycat, you probably don't need Eau The Audacity and vice versa. However, if you have Babycat and you want to get number 5, I think these are different enough that you could probably find uses for both. I hope this makes sense. It's kind of confusing because we're talking about smell and none of y'all can smell what I'm smelling. And the notes for these fragrances are all different. However, when you smell them, especially on skin, they smell extremely similar. So hope you guys found this video helpful. Let me know if you have any questions on any of these fragrances down below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I upload videos every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday, so I have tons of content you can check out on your free time. Also, check out my website. It's www.simplyayesha.com. Over there, I do talk about fragrance, but I also talk about other things I love. Make sure you get on my email list over there. If you want to connect with me more, follow me over on Instagram and on my new TikTok. I don't know what I'm doing over there, but come along for the ride. I'm generally in my stories on Instagram almost every day, so it's a great way to connect with me over there. I hope you all enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.